Hi there, welcome to our first writing lesson while school is closed. So we've got day one writing. We're going to be reading a story this week, and this is the front cover of the story. It's called Oliver's Vegetables. I'd like to have a look at the cover, and then we've got some questions here. I'd like to talk about those questions with the person who's helping you. The first question will be, what do you predict might happen in this story? What do you think is going to happen? And which vegetables do you like? You could talk about fruits and vegetables there as well. Take a moment to pause the video while you talk about that. And now we're going to listen to the story.
Oliver's Vegetables by Vivian French, illustrated by Alison Bartlett. "Finish up, Oliver," said his mum, "or we'll miss the bus." "Can't we walk to Grandpa's house?" asked Oliver. "No," said his mother. "It's too far. Hurry up." The best thing about Grandpa's house was the wonderful garden. "I grow all my own vegetables," Grandpa said proudly. "I don't eat vegetables," Oliver told Grandpa. "I only eat chips." "If you want chips," said Grandpa, "you must find the potatoes. If you find something else, you eat that, and no complaints. Is it a bargain?" Oliver ran round the garden, but he couldn't see any potatoes. "They must be hiding," he said, and pulled at the nearest leaves. "Carrots," said Grandpa. "Just the thing for Monday lunch." Oliver ate his first carrots for lunch. Oliver took a long time making up his mind on Tuesday. Gran and Grandpa came to watch him. "Those crinkly leaves are pretty," he said at last. "Are the potatoes there?" "Spinach," said Grandpa. They had spinach for supper. "Oh, that was good," said Oliver. On Wednesday, Oliver got up early. "Potatoes are very important," he said, "so they must have big leaves. Here they are." Grandpa smiled. "That's rhubarb." They had rhubarb pie that evening. "That was very good," said Oliver. It rained on Thursday. When it stopped, Oliver hurried outside. "Have you found the potatoes?" Grandpa asked. "No," said Oliver. "I've found slugs and snails." "Are they eating my potatoes?" Grandpa shook his head. "That's cabbage." Oliver had 2 helpings. "Very, very good," he said. On Friday, Oliver was sure that he had found the potatoes. When he pulled at the leaves, up came some beetroot. That night, Oliver ate all of his beetroot salad. "Very, very, very good," he said. On Saturday, Oliver played football. The ball landed in a tangle of sticks and leaves. Oliver was sure the potatoes weren't there, and Grandpa nodded. "Peas," he said. Oliver had 3 helpings of pea soup that evening. "Was that good?" asked Grandpa. "No," said Oliver. "It was delicious." Oliver rushed into the garden on Sunday. Here they are! How did you know? Asked Grandpa. They were the only things left, said Oliver. Can we have chips now? Oliver asked. You scrub the potatoes, said Gran, and I'll peel them. Grandpa can cut them up. Oliver, Gran, and Grandpa sat down to eat. The door opened, and in walked Oliver's mother. She saw the plate of chips. Oh dear, I did hope Oliver would eat something different while he was here, she said. Oliver and Grandpa looked at each other. His mother stared as they laughed and laughed and laughed.
I hope you enjoyed that story, Oliver's Vegetables. I've got some questions here again that I would like you to have a read through and discuss them with the person who's helping you. First question, how do you think Oliver felt at the end of the story? How did his grandpa feel? What did you like about the story? And also a bit of a memory question here, which vegetables did Oliver find in Grandpa's garden? If you need to go back and have another listen to part of the story, that's absolutely fine. So talk about those questions, pause the video, press play when you're ready to carry on. Now that you've had a chance to talk about those questions, we're going to move on to the writing. We're going to start with the alphabet. I'm going to type out the letters. Hopefully you know which one comes next. If you're not sure, maybe sing the song as we go. Are you ready? What letter comes next? Okay, now we've got our alphabet ready. Day 1 writing. Oliver found carrots, spinach, rhubarb, cabbage, beetroot, peas, potatoes. And the instruction in your packs, most of the instructions have bullet points just like this. Put the fruits and vegetables into alphabetical order. Look at the first letter and the alphabet to help you. I've written the alphabet underneath here in case you need it. When we're putting things into alphabetical order, it's the first letter that we use to help us. I'm going to colour those in. You might colour them in as well, or maybe underline them. Let's have a look then. Are there any words that begin with the letter A? No, so we're going to move on to B, and I can see straight away we've got B for beetroot. Are there any other that start with B? I don't think there are. So down here on our list, I can write beetroot as the first vegetable. And the next letter we're going to look for is C. I've got carrots, but I've also got cabbage. They both start with C, so we need to look at the next letter. And they actually both have C-A, C-A. So we need to look at the next letter. This one is C-A-R, and this one is C-A-B. They've both got double letters actually there, haven't they? So we've got B and R. Well, B comes before R, so that means in our list we've got beetroot, cabbage, and then the next one must be carrots, and I want you to carry that list on by yourself. Do be careful when you get to these ones over here because they both start with the letter P. Remember, you need to then look at the second letter. Have a go at that, write it nice and neatly. Hopefully you've done your handwriting today already. Now for the next part of today's writing lesson. I'm asking you to think, what else might be in Grandpa's garden? Talk about it, and then use some of the ideas in a poem. The poem that we're going to use is down here, but for now, if we go back to the picture, I'd like you to have a think about what else might be in Grandpa's wonderful vegetable garden. If we were at school, we might try this as a rally robin, where you take it in turns to say an idea. So if you've got someone helping you, that would be a great thing to do. While you do that, I want you to pause the video, press play when you're ready to carry on. What else might be in Grandpa's garden? And we're going to need to think about the 5 senses as we write our poem. We've got our senses on the screen here: sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. If we think about those things, it's going to make our poem more descriptive and let people know just what Grandpa's garden might be like. Here's a pattern, you've got it on your page as well. I'm going to colour in the different senses in the poem. We've got what you might see, what you might hear in Grandpa's garden, what you might smell in Grandpa's garden, and also what you might feel under your feet while you were in the garden. See, well, you've been talking about your ideas. One thing that I could think of maybe is birds. So you could, in your poem, write, I might see birds in Grandpa's garden. But actually, that's not really very descriptive. So I think we could make that even better. Birds. Now, what sort of birds? Well, often in the playground we see magpies, and I see magpies in my garden. So I'm going to just change that to magpies. I might see magpies in Grandpa's garden. It's got more detail, but we've got a long line there. Let's add some more. Black and white. Black and white magpies. I might see black and white magpies in Grandpa's garden. It's a lot better than birds, but what are the magpies doing? When I look out into my garden, I often see them hunting for worms and feeding. So I'm going to put that idea into my poem as well. I might see black and white magpies feeding in Grandpa's garden. So that's much more descriptive than just birds on its own. When you're ready, I'd like you to carry on with that poem, making sure that you are putting some ideas for what you can see, hear and smell. Especially this last one, a little bit trickier. What might you feel under your feet if you were walking around in Grandpa's garden? Do have a go at that. Make sure to put lots and lots of description in, and when you have finished, read it through, check that it makes sense, and that will then be the end of today's writing lesson, and I'll see you next time. Bye.